the coastal temperate rainforest of the Pacific Northwest. Not long ago, the timber industry played a vital role in developing vibrant and prosperous communities. Conservationist and landowner Johnny Sundstrom.
The economy here was really timber, it was fish, and it was people who came in here under the social mandate to turn the dark, huge forest into farms and families.
At the time, the idea of treating the environment with justice took a back seat, offsetting nature's essential life support systems. The resources that once sustained strong timber and fishing communities are not as abundant as they once were. But some parts of these natural systems are on the rebound, thanks to forward-thinking private and public efforts. Take, for example, the Siuslaw Watershed on the Central Oregon coast. EcoTrust Director of Forestry, Brett Davies.
From southern Oregon up to the Olympics, the Siuslaw National Forest has the largest piece of intact coastal temperate rainforest in terms of acres that's still functioning as a native forest ecosystem.
In spite of being intact, the Siuslaw is far from untouched. Between 1960 and 1990, more timber was removed from the watershed than from any area of comparable size in the world. An abundant salmon run used to be the norm in the Siuslaw River. Charlie Dewberry is a restoration ecologist.
Back in the 90s, when there was a commercial catch for coho in the ocean, they were trying to get 35,000 fish quota for all of Oregon and California streams combined. And in 1900, the Siuslaw sustained double that by itself. We know now that that probably means that the Siuslaw was arguably the most productive coho stream in the continental United States.
Now numbers of coho are abysmal, 2% of historic highs. Years of logging and tampering with the watershed offset the stability of the Siuslaw. Debris flows in the river, common but usually tempered by natural occurrences, became devastating to the streams, destroying life-bearing habitats.
It's kind of like a watershed digestive system. And so all the parts have to work, but they also have to work in proper order. Archimedes' screw, if you come up here.
Charlie believes restoration built on looking at everything from the mountaintop to the estuary is key.
No one else has really described it in this unified way.
We're focused on a whole watershed approach to restoration. The problems in the Columbia and other stream systems in the Northwest, they have big hurdles when you're faced with dams and hatcheries. The Siuslaw is fairly unique, especially for the size of the system, because the Siuslaw does not have a dam or a hatchery. So the potential to do whole watershed restoration, restore the natural function of the ecosystem there is real.
That potential became the mission of a unique partnership. Johnny Sundstrom founded the Siuslaw Institute.
We have something called the Siuslaw Basin Partnership, and that consists of the Siuslaw Watershed Council, the Soil and Water Conservation District, the National Forest System, and the Siuslaw Institute.
EcoTrust joined the restoration efforts in 2000, efforts that have garnered international attention.
In 2004, our partnership was awarded the International River Prize out of Brisbane, Australia. It's a tremendous honor, and it recognized both our practices in restoring fish and timber resources, but also our ability to work interagency and between public and private entities on private land with public dollars.
The Environmental Protection Agency, seeing great potential on the Siuslaw, awarded a Targeted Watershed Initiative grant, or TWIG, to EcoTrust. The intent? Enhance the partners' work on the watershed.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, with the Siuslaw Watershed Restoration Initiative funded by the EPA, we have been working on a number of different initiatives, and just even in this last year made significant progress.
Under the developed work plan, EcoTrust laid out 5 goals: restore the natural landscape processes in the uplands, use market incentives to foster restoration and sustainable forestry practices, evaluate the effects of tree planting efforts in riparian areas, protect and restore a 5-mile estuary corridor, and develop a water quality monitoring and evaluation program. Those goals are key in restoring the local community, all the while enhancing the state of the Siuslaw. Landowner Dave Eisler has not always been a conservationist. When he bought his property in the Siuslaw watershed 30 years ago, he just wanted a place to live.
It's a mix of gentle slope, steep slope, and salmon streams with 3 runs of salmon. And for quite a few years, we just sat and enjoyed it until we started realizing that we needed to actively manage for forest health.
Dave set out to make his forest healthy. He knew that thinning was the first step. Since then, he's taken other steps to steward a strong forest on his property, increasing the value of his land.
Our stand became certified with FSC, Forest Stewardship Council, and we hoped that at that point in time we would see better prices for our logs. It was 15 years ago or so. And that's only starting to happen now.
Through public and private partnerships on land such as Dave's, the 4th goal of the initiative is being met. There will soon be more than 11 miles of protected and restored estuary habitat on the Siuslaw.
It's the first working lands conservation easement associated with salmon habitat in the coastal estuaries.
But where's the data? How do we know all of this is working?
The 5th part is really the core of the project from as far as I'm concerned.
That 5th goal, monitoring whole watershed health based on the return of a key species, coho salmon.
They're the most abundant salmonid, the most abundant fish in this basin. So we're looking at not only the numbers, but where they're distributed in the basin to help us determine whether or not the fish can tell us whether the water quality is good or not good in the Siuslaw.
And so far, the trend is positive.
I believe that we've made a great deal of progress. I don't believe this is the last word, and I don't believe this is going to be that there's a short-term silver bullet fix in this. This is going to be a very long-term, decades to centuries-long enterprise.
The ability for agencies and individuals and industry to work together is what I do call the spirit of the Siuslaw.
Communities are realizing that economic, social, and environmental justice can take place at the same time.
This is our home. We recognize what it was, where it is, and what its potentials are.
We're committed to the watershed and the people there and working with them to help restore the health and vitality of the community, the local economy, and the watershed.